Galnet News, keeping your galaxy in focus. 20th of May, 3301. In tonight's news, Soontill Relics test results queried. Arissa implicated in Quiviran resistance. Quivira honors the People's Princess. Quivirans defy doom, and anti-Federation terrorists linked to Artefact research. As further alien artifacts claiming to be from Soontill are being sold on the open market, the results of the initial scientific tests have been revealed. "We are looking for key markers," explains Chief Xenochemist Liren Batar. "Elemental makeup, crystalline structure, anything that indicates it could have originated from human hand." And the results? Inconclusive. The research team's results clearly state that no known human technology could have created the relics, yet they do not quite align with known Fargoid materials. Whatever they are indeed very old, with isotopic dating indicating that they could well be tens of thousands of years old. Jean Molyneux, a historian from France, Earth, suggests we look back at our own past to determine the home of these relics. Imagine an alien travelling back 2,000 years into mankind's past. The varied culture, arts, and building materials of the Aztecs, Greeks, and Shang dynasty, what have you, the alien could think that they were all different species, if that was his way of thinking. The community seems wary of awarding these artifacts any title yet, given the 50 years of false hope since Soontill was first mentioned by the Fargoids. However, reports indicate that these relics have now arrived at labs on both Mars and Capitol for further testing, and with any luck we may soon finally agree on what these relics are or are not. Rumours recently coming out of Persephone from pilots operating in the system suggest that the humanitarian aid effort, championed by Senator Arissa Lavigne, may not be all that it seems. Whilst ostensibly collecting clothes for the displaced refugees of Quivira, traders signing on to the relief effort at Lamberdelli's Legacy report being instructed to deliver accessories, specifically any type of weapon, to Senator Lavigne's agents, including personal weapons and battle weapons, which are illegal across the Empire. This has prompted accusations of treason and dubious morality from those commanders who question Senator Lavigne's use of a humanitarian cause as a front to secretly supply an independent guerrilla resistance outside of the Empire's jurisdiction. One commander, who wished to remain anonymous, told this reporter, if those rumors prove to be true, Arissa supporters who now wave their fingers at alleged infractions committed by Senator Petraeus will lose their credibility. We invited commanders of various affiliations to comment. Commander Blaine Crichton of Angeli Imperial, a group in receipt of Senator Petraeus' patronage, maintain a favourable attitude towards Senator Lavigne. If Her Highness Princess Lavigne is arming the Quiviran refugees, it is still a humanitarian effort. Sadly, the galaxy is not as civilized a place as we should all want it to be, and there are those who would prey on the refugees in their time of need. He added, "It was the actions of an imperial senator that gave Quivira the adjective impoverished. It seemed only fitting that other high-standing members of imperial society should demonstrate the true meaning of largesse, up to and including the means to defend themselves and police themselves." Commander Randall Fox, second in command of the Federation fighter squadron the Red Comets, however surprisingly condemned Senator Lavigne's actions, despite 2 days ago issuing a public statement in which he described her rival Senator Petraeus as a warmongering dog, amongst other unprintable comments. "I fought for the people of Quivira against Petraeus in an effort to help save a few lives. I did not do so to see my efforts turn to aiding some imperial senator in a transparent attempt to gain power over a rival, in a chess game that may end up costing even more lives. So no, I do not support the act of arming refugees under the guise of a humanitarian effort, especially when those refugees are being used as pawns in a political power struggle." Controversially, Commander Jason Pegasai of Ashling's Angels commended Senator Lavigne's actions and expressed the hope that Senator Petraeus has the honor and character to consider renegotiation of debts in the future rather than immediately collecting on them, though the commander was careful to stress that his views in no way represented the views of the People's Princess herself. Several neutral commanders proclaimed their approval of Senator Lavigne's actions, claiming justification in response to Senator Petraeus' perceived brutalities, but others Particularly those affiliated with the Empire expressed grave doubts, fearing that Livigny's support of an independent group directly opposed to his fellow senator marks the descent of the Empire into civil war. A statement released from Senator Livigny's office said that the senator was not available for comment at this time. Written by Statira Eleshanar, Galnet News. Over the last week, Imperial forces loyal to Senator Petraeus continue their assault on Quivira, and due to their efforts, Quivira Electronics plc was finally able to secure control over Godel Dock early on Monday afternoon. Despite being abandoned by their supposed saviors, the People's Quivira for Equality Party were able to find some small respite from the war in the Summerlands. Thanks to the efforts of Aisling Duval and her Angels, refugees from the People's Quivira for Equality Party found themselves well cared for in the Summerlands, even as their counterparts in Persephone and Quivira continued to suffer. Now that the war is over, the People's Quivira for Equality Party has elected to pledge itself to Aisling's service. In recognition of that fact, Senator Petraeus has promised that only residents of Quivira who have directly broken imperial law will be held responsible for the debt incurred by the previous administration. Members of the People's Quivira for Equality Party who have sworn themselves to Aisling are expected to start returning to their homes over the next few days. The war-torn region of Quivira has finally settled into an uneasy peace, following an intense period of fighting which saw hundreds of thousands dead and several billion credits worth of damage done to the local economy. Initially, the situation looked promising for the People's Quivira for Equality Party. Independent and federal commanders flocked from all across the galaxy in an attempt to repel Senator Denton Petraeus' attempts to extract the debts owed to him by the Quiviran government. Early attempts at repelling the senator's mercenary forces proved to be a success, and the freedom fighters were able to buy enough time for the People's Quivira for Equality Party to evacuate a great many innocent civilians to neighbouring systems. Unfortunately, once the party's credits ran out, so too did the support of independent and federal pilots. Over the course of the weekend, hundreds of tons of biowaste were dumped in and around stations in 78 Ursae Majoris. The system is currently undergoing preparations for President Halsey's arrival as part of her planned grand tour. A group calling themselves the Canon claims responsibility for this act. An anonymous spokesperson told Galnet that they are a movement of like-minded commanders seeking the truth about the recently discovered unknown artifacts. They state that they are prepared to use whatever levers are at their disposal to increase the political pressure on the Federation government to force them to come clean. The spokesperson echoed growing fears that the artifacts could be some new weapon of mass destruction. Parallels were immediately drawn to Dr. Arcanon and his recent demands to the Federation government following research into the unknown artifacts discovered to be transported in Federation convoys. We asked Arcanon if he was connected to this terrorist group. He denied any responsibility for the group's actions, but declined to answer any further questions on the subject of his potential involvement. However, he did go on to say, "It is clear that we are not the only ones who are growing tired of the Federation's cover-up over these artifacts, and some commanders would seem to be taking more direct action. Obviously, I do not condone such methods, but I can certainly sympathize with their frustration. In the spirit of seeking to put an end to these disruptive acts, I urge all citizens, Federation, Alliance, and Empire alike to petition your government to make public any information that they have on the origin and nature of these objects before these demonstrations escalate. I also appeal to Chief Xenochemist Liren Bitar to contact me so we can pool our resources and research into these potentially related items in the search for answers for the common good of all humanity." And that's all for our broadcast tonight. Thank you for listening, and remember to tune in next time so you can keep your galaxy in focus.